Ready?
But maybe this time.
But if I do that,
I love it.
unless...
It's like one of my favorite jokes that people don't laugh at. I love that. I have a list of jokes that people don't laugh at.
There is a good list to maintain, honestly. The like I said, like the yet, I always get groans from that.
The yet.
Unless, maybe.
But just this time.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, people don't laugh at my little things. But I admit I also have a bit like a dark humor sense too, where like I'll say something goofy and I'm like, I always said it because I'm okay with internalizing the situation, but laughing at the absurdity of it too. So I'll give like a dark statement. The person will be like this. They'll give me this straight face expression, like, "What kind of monster?" I was like, "What are you talking
kind of
about?"
monster are you?
I just put a frowny face on the article.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm a good person. I just have a dark sense of humor.
I'm just making myself laugh. Anyway, welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 18-1. This is the season premiere of World 18. It's a season or a world or something.
This is a world.
It's a world, yeah.
It's a small world.
It's a small world, and it's just you and me and the dog.
That's right, but he's a cool dog.
He fell asleep. He's been outside all day, running around. Before we get started on the show, I want to give a shout out to our friend Derek, who gave us a nice little write-up on his blog, and he sent me a nice text message. It's always nice to hear from you, Derek. And
I didn't know this happened, so I want to hear this.
Oh, thank you for the kind words. He said that it's nice. He was traveling through New Zealand and Australia for a few months, and he was listening to our podcast while he was driving around, and he really likes it. He's really into game music. We met playing DDR back in the day. He's really into like 2DX and poppin' music and all that other stuff too. All the music games that we're obsessed with.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he does. So yeah, thanks Derek. It was good hearing from you, and as always,
keep on traveling.
Keep on traveling. Keep on trucking. I know you're doing big things where you are.
He's got a CDL.
CDO?
CDL. See, speaking of jokes that no one laughs at, there's one right there that I just tried to throw in there. CDL, commercial driver's license.
No, he does not.
That was the joke.
That was the joke.
That was the joke.
That was the. Yeah, if I just knew what that meant, I would have laughed.
It's
head off, man. I'm tired. I've been out working out in the garden all day. It's been so nice. I love it. We're recording this, it is the end of April.
My friend referred to this as
beautiful.
quit your job weather.
Quit your job weather.
This is the weather where you get out of bed and you go outside. You're like, I'm not even going to work. I'm going to the park.
I know. I've done this where I drive to work and I get out and I go to walk to the door and I'm like, I should just turn around.
Turn around. Go to your car and just drive around. Go to the park and stare at the stream. It would be a nice day.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that sounds so good. Okay, some other top of the show stuff. We should say that this coming Thursday is our Patreon. For our Patreon subscribers, we're doing a live stream of the show.
Now, we have to emphasize.
Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry for everyone else who's not United States Eastern. My bad. Okay, Pernell.
Also, aside from that component, we also have to emphasize that this particular Patreon attempt is to get your favorite games tracks. So, for example, if one of your favorite games is Secret of Mana, give us a track you like from Secret of Mana. Of course, testimonials are optional, but the main goal here is this has been a month of our favorites. We want to hear your favorites.
So think of it like this. This is how I've been framing it in my mind. I love these 3 Final Fantasy games, and I want to play battle music on the show. But I like it better on 4 than it is on 5.
Yeah.
But my absolute favorite is 5, so I'm picking music from 5.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a great way to do it.
There we go. That's what I've been doing.
And it doesn't have to be hard. Doesn't have to be complicated. It's just shoot from. If you can't decide, shoot from the gut.
Yeah, it's fine. We're not going to hold you to it. We're not going to be like,
well, unless you're Chris Murray, we're going to hold you to it.
Yeah, unless we've met you in person, then you're messed. Dude,
what are you doing?
We're going to find you.
But seriously, just submit stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, we just want to know what you like. So come on, guys.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
So
and we'll probably post this on the groups too, just in case people don't hear the episode or something.
So you want to know how I've been doing on the Game of the Month?
You've been playing it, huh?
I've been playing Enter the Gungeon, which is my game of the month.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yesterday I played for I guess a couple hours. There's a TV. There's an old broken TV in the game. Mm-hmm. You pick it up.
Okay.
And if you dodge roll, you drop it, and you can't carry any other items as long as you have it.
It just basically sounds like EX difficult mode.
So if you take every challenge in this game is like nightmare mode, right? So you have to take this TV down to the 5th floor to the blacksmith.
Okay.
And she takes it, turns it into the robot, and that's the new playable character, the robot.
Oh, nice.
Which is that's like one of the first NPCs that you can play as.
And you did get this. You did pull it off.
No, well, I got the.
No, I did.
It takes so many attempts because one, it's so hard to get through. You need to have like the right weapons. You need to make sure, and also you can't have anything in your path. Like it's something, you know how like there's like pits,
the tables and
pits
stuff.
and stuff. If you try to dodge roll over a pit, you'll drop it.
So how does that work? Because some areas require it.
Exactly. If you run into that area and you don't have any item that lets you fly, and there's no other way around it, then you have to either give it up or start over.
Borked.
So I got all the way to the end. I got to the 5th floor. And I had like half a heart left, and I was just like, my heart, I've never had my heart race so hard. Like it was so tense. I didn't make it. Oh. I was so close.
But the thrill of the attempt.
The thrill of the attempt. I felt amazing. Christy came home and she's like, why are you like I was like on the edge of the couch. I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Do it.
But no, the latest update is really, really good. There's the new hidden area is called RNG, which is
like range, like random number generator.
Yeah, random number generator, but it's spelled like R&D, like research and development, because the whole stage is made with assets that were unused in the game, that was always in the game but unused, and the music is an unused track that was on the soundtrack.
Weird.
Also, we're going to be playing more Gungeon music soon because the newest version, every NPC that you find in the Gungeon has their own theme song.
Which means you're looking at doing a theme song episode?
Oh, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, now it isn't just like, Gungeon music. No,
there's a lot more music.
There's a lot
in the
more,
game.
and a lot of it's really good. A lot of it's really, really good. I'm so excited. I'm so happy they put so much time and care into this thing that I feel like I'm the only one who really enjoys.
No. I think a lot of people enjoy this.
It's hard.
It's like I mentioned before. There are levels to it, and not everybody's going to see the bottom.
It feels so good, man.
And that's fine. But the people who see the bottom, oh man, that's got to be quite the thrill.
It's addictive. You get to a certain point, or you find something new. It's addictive, and that's what keeps me playing. I'm like, oh, I got to do it again. And you lose like for 3 hours, and then something happens, and you're like, oh, there's something new. I got to do it again.
Meanwhile, with the messenger, for me, I've just fallen off the wayside hardcore.
Really?
There, yeah. Not that it's bad. I need to go back.
You just need to go back to it.
It's like I said, I fell off the wagon when it was like, here are the last upgrades in the game you can get. I'm like, but none of these excite me. So now I'm collecting baubles for nothing.
Right.
Also, I spoiled myself because I needed to know. I spoiled myself on what the power seals give you.
Okay.
That does not excite me.
Okay, you when this is over, you tell me, and then I will also not be excited. Because I kind of want to know.
So it's like
because they're hard to get to. Some of them are.
They really are.
Some of them are like Celeste level, like hard.
And don't get me wrong, I like that. Like to me, that's like kind of that's a lot of fun to try.
I do like the little demon who like writes in his book every time you die.
Oh yeah,
he's like, oh, stupid.
He's got quite the ledger for me.
Me too.
But like, it's just. In the end, I felt like I want to do more of the platforming, but when there are other games that reward me more with goodies, I feel like I'd rather be playing one of those.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm torn to go back, and I'm struggling with it. And then to add, insult to injury here, I developed this desire, this intrinsic desire to take out the Trail series. Like hardcore play through the Trails Legend of Heroes RPG series.
Yeah.
I beat the first game way back in 2015. Sorry, early 2016. I had some bad moments that occurred during that period of time.
Yeah.
And that resulted in me kind of just dropping the second one. I didn't even touch it really.
Yeah. So now you feel like you've had some distance.
Yes. And it doesn't help, or it does help, that I just reviewed Trails of Cold Steel a week or two ago. And that one is a 2-year post-sequel to the game I put down.
Okay.
And then there's another one coming out, which I got to review soon. but I want to be done a lot of them, as much of them as possible before getting to the second one. Otherwise, I'm going to have to play it, review it, then restart it after playing the other ones. It's going to get wonky. But the point is, I want to experience the entire saga because it's deep and it's enjoyable. And it is the JRPG fix that I had been looking for a bit.
Oh, good. So it's like, it is an itch that you knew was there to scratch, and now it's like you're scratching it.
Yeah, because before it was always like, hey, do you want to play this Idea Factory or Compile Heart game?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to play Atelier something? No, I want to play an RPG that's got a J in front of it that doesn't involve Idea Factory and this cute 'em up characters. Can you help me out? We got you, fam. Falcom's got your back.
That's the other thing, man. I've been listening to Trails music at work a lot.
Because it's gold,
Oh, it's
man.
so good.
It is
Falcom sound team. All right, so let's talk about our topic today.
Which has no Falcom games.
No Falcom games in it, right? So this is our third in our series of our favorites, and I have to say, well, our favorites, SHMUPs or SHMUPs.
SHMUPs.
So not like running gun, not platforming, but specifically horizontal scrolling, vertical scrolling. I would even say things like from a fake 3D perspective, like Afterburner. That would be a SHMUP.
Yeah, I think so.
What's it, Cotton.
Cotton's a shmup.
Cotton's definitely a shmup. So or a Space Harrier, that whole style. But I have to say, these past two episodes, last one was fighting games, and this one shmups, are in my wheelhouse. And so I appreciate that. You're like, let's make sure we do something that's in Rob's wheelhouse still.
Oh, yeah.
We did RPGs, now JRPGs. Now action RPGs. I'm like,
I think it's funny because I was actually going to suggest at one point for listeners if they wanted to propose your favorites of X, they should try.
I have to start playing them.
Yeah, I was going to add the caveat, like, you can suggest it, but fair warning, if we do it, we might not be well versed. Like, your favorite sports games, like, well, we're the only three I played.
Yeah,
I've played more than three, but
I could pick a bunch, but they'd be like racing games mainly.
Yeah.
But no, shmups are my thing. Like Gungeon is a bullet hell game, definitely shmup. All of my picks are my progression of learning to love shoot 'em ups, and then evolving into loving bullet hell games.
Ooh, that's a good call.
That's like my whole little cycle.
Mine, on the other hand, is just going to be backwards because this was one of those cases where it's like I was having trouble deciding on some favorites. In two cases, I was like, well, I already picked tracks from those in previous episodes, and while I love them, I want to give a spotlight to other games instead.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, pick these.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how much of these do you remember? Not much, but I do remember why I like them, and that might be enough.
That should be enough. And this episode, I actually played a lot of the games ahead of time to refresh my memory of like, oh, this is the one I played. There's just so many sequels and things, but we can talk about that as we get into it. This is an odd episode, so this is an odd Pernell.
That's right. I'm that guy.
What is it?
I'm that guy.
What it is, Pernell? What is the first song?
I'm going in order from newest to oldest this time.
Ooh, okay. I'm going the other way.
So I'm going to start with a track from a game I did pick in the past, but again, this purpose is because I want people to play this bloody game so much.
Okay.
And the game is called Hyper Void. And the track title is called Distro Void. And the composer is Kamel Bushnak.
Okay.
Welcome back. You just listened to Distro Void from the game Hyper Void. I hope it revved your engines as it was composed by Kamel Bushnak, a guy who I have never heard of prior to this game, but seriously, after hearing the majority of the OST of this game, I really would like to hear more of him.
Yeah, we have played some Hyper Void songs on this show because they're so good.
Yeah, I think I
They're
picked
so
Demist before.
Demist, yeah.
I had like a very pointed meaning for that when I picked it before, but nonetheless, like, this is a very perfect fit for this episode's theme and for me picking it.
So tell me about Hyper Void. Like how I didn't think the gameplay was a shoot 'em up. For some reason.
It kind of is. It's more like you consider Tempest to be a shoot 'em up, right?
Yes.
Just with
Oh,
that
that's
weird
right.
coil.
It's like a Tempest style type thing.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll be in the full like cylinder like in Tempest. Sometimes the flat surface.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a weird thing where like it wraps around from the top, going around to the back, and comes back out
you're
the front.
Kind of behind your spaceship, going through a tunnel, and you're shooting at the things coming at you. So it's similar, like we talked about with Cotton.
Yeah.
Or with Space Harrier. Yeah, exactly.
And this game does a ridiculously good job of handling, because while I don't get the story quite right in my head, my understanding is like you were a ship that exists as like a program in a system, and you're actually going into the computer because you were sent there by the programmer to destroy a virus that is infecting a system. So
Okay.
you're actually flying through a computer.
Oh, cool.
And like all the
Tron
levels
style.
have, you'll every once in a while, like a line of code will pop, like, okay, like C out, like C input to such and such, to like blast you to the next zone. And,
Oh, that's cool.
and sometimes like there's like a part where like you might get infected with a virus, and there's like it jams your weapons. You'll see at the code come up, it's like weapon jam, blah blah blah.
That's what I loved about Res. Like in the background, there'd be like little like command line stuff that is supposed to look cool, but if you look at it closely, it says things like target coming to the delete file.
Yes, and that's how this is too. Like the code, it actually seems reasonable for what's happening. If that makes any sense, like I can see that.
I see what you're doing that matches with this, but if you had to fly and shoot things like this every time you needed to like move a file, like that would be awful.
Yes, it would. And
It'd be
imagine
fun
if
for a day.
If your accuracy was even slightly off, your whole network goes down.
Yeah,
But
your hard drive is corrupted because of like you deleted like half of the data.
but hey, it was a fun ride, right?
Yeah.
So like this game is like it's lengthy. It's like 30 stages, maybe more if you factor in the bonus levels. I can't remember if they're part of the numbering or not.
Are there tracks for every stage?
No, they reuse a number
They reuse
of
a few of
tracks.
them. Okay, I was to say that'd be a lot.
It would be a lot of great tunes.
Yeah.
But like the game itself, it's addictive. Like when we stumbled across it, it was completely by chance. It was like one of those, hey, this looks fun.
This looks neat. Let's try it.
Try it. And my friend Mike and I, we played the entire game in one night. We stayed up literally all night and played this game. There was one level in particular, which was the track from that old episode. It's like a level where it's like 2.5 minutes of just straight shooting through a tunnel very fast. And you have to be perfect. Like, there's a bunch of gates where if you crash them, you die.
Oh, was that the Demist track?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to like squeeze through each notch, and every once in a while the viruses show up, and if the virus catches you, it jams your gun, so you can't blow up the one opening in certain gate areas. So it's very stressful. And it got to the point where like we were becoming determined, like this has to be near the end of the game.
Right.
So we just kept trying, and it took like 2 hours. I'm not even making it, like 2 to 3 hours to beat one stage because we were determined that night to get it. I got to a point where I was throwing water on my eyes because I couldn't blink.
Right.
Like I literally had this thing where I was like, you know when gamers have this thing where they always have they have to do a certain thing in order to succeed, like almost like a ritual. In this case, my thought was I literally cannot blink.
Yes.
Or I will throw off my timing and I will lose.
Exactly. It becomes some kind of weird, some kind of strange, like a ritual or a something you do. And there's Stevie Wonder wrote a song about it. Superstition. There was. Got the song first. But it's so strange that you can get inside your own head and come up with these own superstitions playing these games. But this is going to be a common thread with these shoot 'em ups, especially the ones that get really fast and really challenging, is that you stop blinking
I didn't blink, and
Hard on the eyes.
there was one more weird
Yeah.
thing I did. It got to a point also because due to all like how you have to turn, then
Yes.
turn. There was like a sequence you had to remember too.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I was like, I would not blink, and I'd start singing along with the game, like turn left, shoot the gun, pew pew, go to the left, go to the right.
The stages
blasting shot.
move in rhythm with the music.
No, I made it.
Oh, you made- you
I
kinda
made it
had it
work.
in your head,
I
yeah.
fit it in like gun, dash, shoot, pew pew, like blue gun, red gun, change. Because also you have all of your guns at the same
You
time.
were playing Space Channel 5.
Oh, I was getting
Run,
man.
turn, shoot.
That's why that game was natural to me, though, in and
Yeah.
of itself, because
And
like
it all made sense, right? It was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's telling me.
it's rhythmic coordinating for your shots.
Love it.
And like the only detriment this game has is it reuses bosses. So you'll fight the same boss multiple times across the game.
Okay.
So you might be like, oh crap, that jerk again. Well, it's not a big deal. You beat them, you move on, you do more cool levels, and the lighting is perfect.
Well, that's interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, it's
This is a
interesting.
conversation.
Well, it's interesting that with a lot of these shoot 'em ups, we're going to hear the meat of the game are the bosses, where it's like the stage is kind of not super long. It's interesting, but you're spending a lot of the time on these boss battles that have multiple forms and they change into different things and they're super difficult. You're saying that for this game, Hyper Void, it's mainly the stage is that what you're playing. You're looking forward to that, and the bosses they reuse them, and it's like, okay, I will just get through that.
Yeah, like it's just a gem of a game, and it's probably dirt cheap nowadays too. Because I don't even think it sold very well, which is depressing.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Which is kind of
Like I've actually realized, this is me plugging another game, but this is the time to do it.
yeah, we're enthusiastic.
So, why I brought this up on the SML recently, but I was like, why I like reviewing games? Because yeah, you might say it's because you get games for free. Yeah. But the other reason is because every once in a while you'll be told about something that you would have otherwise ignored
You would have
or
known about
skipped.
it, right?
And I just reviewed a game called Bugs Must Die on Steam.
Okay.
The game is selling for butt. Like, it's not selling well at all, which is depressing because I love it.
It's that good.
Yes, like, if you're familiar with Jackal from back on the NES days,
Yeah, that game was hard, man.
and this game is hard too.
It was hard two-player.
Like, this game is totally inspired by fans of Jackal.
Okay.
It's inspired by Jackal.
That's so again, that's interesting too. Like that people would mind that kind of nostalgia, but that game specifically.
Well, it's interesting in a way because when you really think about it, there are a lot of games like that.
Yeah.
Like the other game I mentioned when I was doing the reviews, like there was a game that Mike and I played called Renegade Ops on the PS3 that, again, not many people know about. Completely stumbled across it by accident, and it's one of the best games on the PS3.
Oh, cool.
You're just driving a car, blowing up buildings and saving hostages. And this game was a lot of fun. The OST is solid, the gameplay is solid. It hits all the notes. But if it weren't for even knowing that the reviews...
Bug's Life. Bug's Life must die.
Bugs Life.
Bugs Must Die.
Disney Pixar's Bugs Must Die.
Disney Pixar, Bugs Must Die.
Now, the game's called Bugs Must Die, though.
Okay.
It is on Steam.
And it's not a Looney Tunes.
There's nothing loony about this game.
There's no Bugs Bunny Must Die.
There's a little bugs in there. There's some bugs.
Bugs.
Bugsy. But, like, yeah, like... And it also hits the shooter. I guess you could almost call it like a shmup of sorts.
Yeah, I would
too.
say Jackal kind of toes that line.
You're not on an auto-scrolling set, but you are definitely like shooting like crazy, like a twin-stick shooter.
Yeah, on the NES, you definitely can't go back.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
and this is like there it is. That's a twin-stick shooter. That's basically what it amounts to.
That's right.
Fire one direction, drive in another.
Yeah.
What
Right.
up?
So let's move on to the next track. I'm picking from. I would say this is the first vertical shooter that I played a ton of as a teenager. That really got me interested in the style of game. That got me really excited about scoring. Maybe not scoring so much, but just really interested in playing the same game and learning all the bosses, learning all the stages. I don't remember much of it now. I had to play them again to remember which sequel I remember playing.
So not so much about getting from the beginning to the end, but doing it better each time.
Yeah, doing it better each time. So this is Sonic Wings 3 for the Neo Geo. It's also called Arrow Wings 3 in America. And this track is from the bonus stage part 2. So there's like 2 different bonus stages where like enemies fly out real fast, and it's like almost like Gradius style. And this is called the Sonic Jungle Show part 2. And this,
Sonic Jungle Show?
Oh yeah,
Starring Leslie Nielsen.
well, this has got an amazing like drum and bass soundtrack. So I'll talk more about that. The composer, all that's credited is Hosoq, Hosoq Video System. So I think it's a group, but like there was no single composer credited. I hope someone, maybe our listeners, know who it might be, but that'd be kind of cool. So this is the Sonic Jungle Show Part 2 from Sonic Wings 3.
Jungle Show.
The Sonic Jungle Show.
It's Sonic Jungle. It's Sonic Jungle. It's Sonic Jungle.
It's Sonic Jungle.
It's Sonic Jungle.
It's Sonic Jungle. It's Sonic Jungle.
It's Sonic Jungle.
I
Wait,
love
it could
it.
be a Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh,
track.
I love it. It's so jungle. This is the Sonic Jungle Show Part 2, bonus stage 2, from the game Sonic Wings 3 for the Neo Geo, composed by Hosoq Video System. Ooh. These kinds of beats, man, they get me. I hear it, and I didn't realize. So this game came out in 1996.
This is a very interesting tune for a shooter.
The whole soundtrack
For a
is-
shmup.
For shmup, yeah, it's all very fast. It's really crazy. The Sonic Wings series, you play as like 5 or 6 different characters who fly these futuristic space plane situation things. But like the characters are nuts. There's like, of course, there's like the crack rookie pilot, right? But then there's like a ninja. And then there is like 2 little kids off to school, but they're flying a plane together for some reason. There is a dolphin
Well, dolphins, if you want to
who
see
wears like a one of those cats, you know, with like the goggles, like a flight cap.
Well, I mean, honestly, if there's any animal that's going to be flying a plane, it's going to be a dolphin.
It's amazing. I think he was introduced in the second one, and you start playing as the dolphin. Like his story starts out with like, "I'm the first dolphin to fly," and like you start flying through the game. So, but this is Sonic Wings 3. So this is the one I remember. It came out in 1996 that I played a ton of in the arcade. Every time I would find a Neo Geo machine near us, they had this game was on it, and we did a vacation up to Maine, and there was an arcade near a laundromat that we used. And they had this game. I played a ton of it. And I went back and I'm thinking like, wow, 1996, there's all of this crazy drum and bass and jungle music in it. And maybe that's what got me interested in this style and this speed of music was listening to it back then.
Honestly, this does fit because it came out in 96.
Yeah.
And you started really getting into the mixing scene like in the late 90s.
Yeah, 97, 98. Yeah, that's about when I got into it. I got my turntables like in 97.
Boom.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We can attribute to
There,
Sonic
there it
Wings.
is. My interest in this music is video games, so my whole life is a lie.
No, I mean,
No.
That's the thing. That's what I like about a lot of these game tracks. So, like, video game music does inspire taste in the music. Like, we've talked about it multiple times in the past.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
You know, ease is why I got into metal for a while and a lot of rock music. And popping is why I got into twee and cuddlecore. I mean,
Well, I always thought it was the Wipeout series that got me into drum and bass, but maybe like in the back of my mind, I was hearing this because a lot of these, all of my shoot 'em ups, most of my shoot 'em ups are from the arcade. That's where I played most of them, and you don't hear the music very well in the arcade.
The explosions are what stand out.
The guns and the explosions and all of, like the stuff going on. It's so overpowering that if I ever play these on an emulator or at home, if I can turn down the sound effects, I always do.
it's almost like a new experience. Like, what's this? What
Exactly.
the music sounds like.
Yeah, it's a new experience. So yeah, if you get a chance, there's a place called, I think it's called playretro.com that has a lot of these like emulators you can play through a browser. And that's how I went back and played some of these games. And they're really cool. This game, I forgot how good the animation was. It's really amazing. The bullets move way faster than your ship can move. So maybe I had the difficulty turned up, I didn't realize it. Maybe I was in nightmare mode.
Perhaps.
Playing in a browser at work, nightmare mode. No, I wasn't at work.
If your boss walks in, you gotta hit the F5 key.
No, I was on the porch. We were gardening, and I was taking a break and playing games.
At work.
At work. No, I took the day off, man. I don't play games at work all the time.
Sometimes.
But no, I just break things. That's
While playing games.
while playing games.
At work.
Because I was playing games. Man, oh, my boss might be listening.
That would be a trip. Robert?
Robert, can you come in the office, please?
How did you get past stage 5-2
No,
without the special code required to get the additional lives?
Yeah, there was a night that I had to work real late because I had some serious network issues. I was on the phone with tech support with VMware, and I was waiting for hours. Like I was there all night and all day. So while I was waiting, I was playing SimCity, like the original SimCity.
That's how it gets done.
I was like, I got nothing else to do. Just gonna drink coffee and play SimCity. It was like it's hard, man. The original SimCity is tough.
Oh yeah, I never did well in that game.
I did horribly. It took me a while to figure out.
I think I'm not sure if I ever mentioned on the show, but like in my high school, they gave us SimCity as one of our final projects one year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was environmental science, and they made us play through our own instances of SimCity. They created a specific like layout.
Oh, a map.
Start.
Yeah.
And then we had to expand it and stuff, with the intent being to study like the effect urban sprawl.
Yeah.
And the effects of like.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really surprisingly effective.
Was it the original SimCity or was it like one of the later ones?
The original SimCity on PC.
Oh wow.
It was a trip. Like
it looked good.
It's one of those things where you look at your teacher's like, you made us learn by having fun.
Yeah.
You monster.
You monster.
She got the idea because I used to sneak games and install them on like we played. I had Doom in there, I had Mega Man X on that class computer.
I know so many of us. I'm sure so many of our listeners too have similar experiences of like high school library computers, like sneaking in like an emulator to play like Final Fantasy or something on a study hall break or something like that.
Yeah, on a break.
On a break. I don't play games at work for now. All right, before I get myself into trouble, Pernell, your next track, please.
Well, this series is a clear giveaway here, so I decided to go with one that surprisingly had the majority of influence on me across the board. Okay. So this track is from the game Gradius Galaxies.
Gradius Galaxies.
And honestly, even though the track had a name where I found it, I don't think there's no official names to these tracks.
Huh.
So I'm just going to call it Stage Approach because it best emphasizes the approach.
Oh, because in Gradius, like you almost always start like in space.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always that same song, right?
Well, this one had more than one, I think. But this is the one that stood out to me the most.
What system was this on?
Game Boy Advance.
Oh wow,
a rarity for the show. We rarely ever pick Game Boy Advance.
It's
stuff.
true, yeah, and I don't know this one. I'm sorry, continue.
The composers, because I don't know which one did it.
Okay,
is Kaori Takazo, Hirofumi Sano, and Shigemitsu Goto. Stage Approach. Who composed it? Kaori Takazo and Kaori Takazo, Hirofumi Sano, and Shigemitsu Goto.
Your voice like broke like right there. It's perfect.
Like crack. So, well, I'll start off with Gradius in general. So, the overall franchise of Gradius is one of my all-time, if not my all-time favorite shmup franchise. So, say what you want about the actual gameplay, even though if you hate it, I'd be shocked. I don't think I've ever met a person who likes shmups but hates Gradius. But, say what you will about the gameplay, but I feel like Gradius is like the granddaddy of like weapon progression systems in shmups, if the shmup even has it. So
Yeah, I think so, because a lot of shmups handle upgrades and power-ups all different ways, and most of them are like you pick up the same thing, you pick up one thing, you pick up one thing, and the same thing you pick up over and over gradually increases your power or your speed. Some other ones where it's like you pick up different colors of things will change exactly what you're doing. But with Gradius, it's like you can choose when to upgrade and like what to upgrade and when, which is really different. And
like
it's one of the earlier ones too.
Yeah, because like I think Gradius 1 it was just one straight line of stuff, but then the later games they gave you variety. Like, okay, do you want the weapon progression where you can get the ripple gun, or do you want the one where you can get the laser gun?
Gradius 3 for the Super Nintendo had a really cool progression. I really enjoyed that. And then Parodius also had the similar thing with the different characters.
Because Parodius was like that, where it was like it was like a parody style Gradius.
Yeah, you can play as a Pingo or whatever his name is, the penguin, space turtle,
the octopus, the lady who rides the bunny girl.
Yep,
well, all kinds of wacky characters. And
so tell me about Gradius Galaxies though. Are wacky characters in this one, or is it just?
So the only thing that makes this one stand out
is his name Viper.
Vic Viper.
That's
the primary ship across all Gradius games. I think there are like other ones like Vic Viper 2. And like other remodels, there's that one game where he meets himself in the past. I think that's the one Treasure developed. But anyway, Gradius Galaxies, there's nothing special about it. This only hook is that it was on the Game Boy Advance. So why this one works so well for me and why it's in my when it sticks out for me is that
in your top.
So I love the Game Boy Advance. That's shit. Well, it might be a secret because I never bring it up on the show, but I was obsessed with the Game Boy Advance when it came out. It was like it's about time console.
Yeah.
A portable Super Nintendo during the age of PS2 and Dreamcast and all that.
Yeah, and they were releasing a lot of good stuff, a lot of good ports. I remember when
everything was something advanced.
Yeah, I remember when Dodgeball came out, Super Dodgeball Advance or something. I was like, oh,
and it was really good.
Yeah, they were releasing a lot of good stuff. So that makes sense that this would be at that time.
Yes,
right. Yeah.
So while I did play I played Gradius and I had played Life Force because again at this point I was already a major fan of the series. I just wanted to see what this portable Gradius would be like, and what ended up happening was. It became that lunch break, ride the bus, because I used to ride the bus at that time.
Yeah.
It became that game that I would play all the time. Like, I was determined to beat this game. I was determined to succeed, and it was almost perfect for the commutes and stuff, because as you know from playing Gradius, the moment you die on the later levels, unless you're a beast, you're just hanging up at that point.
Right, so you're collecting power-ups to eventually choose what you're going to upgrade.
Yeah.
So as you play the game, it's almost like a roguelike in that way. You're collecting these upgrades as you play through. As soon as you die or lose, you go back to square one.
Only on the upgrades. Your ship will still be on that stage, though.
You're still on the higher level.
It's like I'm on
your upgrades.
I got to stage 6 with this whole loadout.
Yeah.
But now I'm stuck on stage 6 with no speed up, no missiles, no laser, and you're like, how do I succeed on the hardest level of the game with the base level ship? Which means at that point, you're like, what is the optimal upgrade path just to get me moving? And then you're struggling just to get there. It's a trip. But doing that on the bus or in the break room screaming my head off with these awesome GBA tunes playing in my ear, mind you.
Yeah, this is good stuff. This is good. It's like chip tunes, but there's some sampling in the background, too. Like, so there's a nice kick drum. There's a hi-hat back there.
And Konami was really good at composing tracks for the Game Boy Advance. Like people that, not Konami, because obviously the company wasn't doing it, but the people they would get to do work were genuinely skilled at the art, and it showed across all their games.
I love the second half of this track because it starts out kind of generic, like, oh, here we're going to start. But then it gets kind of like a funky jazz kind of vibe going on. There's a little pitch bend. Yeah, it's real good.
This is like
real clever.
And it makes me tell you, I mean, now I feel like I need to start looking at some of the other ones, because I still have Circle of the Moon, Castlevania, but I unfortunately stupidly...
on the advanced... look at your advanced games?
Yes, but I sold Konami Crazy Racers like a schmuck, because I was like, well, I got Mario Kart now, so I don't need this one anymore. I regret that decision.
Oh, why is that?
Because I miss it.
Oh, you miss it? Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, guys, now it's worth $4,000.
Actually, I gotta feel like I could probably get Crazy Racers for peanuts if I would hit eBay. I don't think it actually went up in value at all. It's just an old game that
It's just too
regret
crazy.
losing.
It's just too crazy for
Too
people.
crazy for the world. Too crazy for the world, but not too crazy.
That's, you like Konami, but no, not crazy.
You don't want to get down with them crazy racers.
Crazy with a guy. All right, so my next track. This is a few years later. I started going to the Granite Run Mall. Remember the Granite Run Mall? Mm-hmm. It's not there anymore. It's kind of scary and run down.
They were going to talk about mall rats too there, and it just didn't happen.
It just didn't happen. So they had an arcade in that place where I first started really getting into Marvel Capcom, and I think they had Third Strike and a bunch of others. But in the corner of the arcade, they had Strikers 1945.
Oh, I know that
2.
game.
And I used to go there. I was working at Funscape at the time, but I would still go there to play this game. And this was the first game that I got really into score attack, that I was really focused on, not just getting through it, not just playing it well, but understanding how the game scores and trying to do it through one credit. And I'll talk about more about how to play, how you're intended to play shooters for score. But this is like one of the first ones that kind of drew me towards bullet hell games, because suddenly the screen was just covered in stuff. And it moved very fast. Mm-hmm. So Strikers 1945 Part 2 for the arcade. This is a track called Far from the Cloud Sea, which is the cloud stage, composed by Masaki Isutani. Yeah, it's good. So this is Far from the Cloud Sea, the cloud stage from Strikers 1945 Part 2, composed by Masaki Isutani. So the Strikers series,
weren't they like military planes?
yeah, so remember it was for the NES. It was also in the arcade. It was just called like 1943, and then there was 1942.
Wait, Strikers was a sequel to that?
Yeah, it was a sequel to those. So imagine.
I never knew that.
So those games were like, I think you were playing as the Axis side of World War II, and you're
No way.
Yeah.
Internet time.
Internet time. I just pulled that. Anyway.
Well, you keep talking. You did look it up.
All right, here we go. All right. In the summer of 1945, after the end of World War II, peace has once again spread throughout the world. However, the mysterious organization of CANY emerged to conquer the world using super weapons. Yes, never seen before. It is composed of high-ranking international military officials. 6 best fighters who together form a team called Strikers have been chosen secretly by United Military Headquarters for a mission against this threat.
See, so you're not the Axis ally. Oh,
Yeah.
you could be the ally.
I mean,
not
like,
the
come on,
Axis,
you're
not
Japanese fighter pilots right after World War II. So
Yeah, but it's a Japanese developed game, and
Yeah.
they're not necessarily fighting against like. It's like now that peace has been restored, we're not having any of that.
yeah, no,
Like,
exactly. No, it's not
this
like
is something
that.
else.
But it's just, again, it's a war game in World War II. It's kind of.
It's a little dicey.
But in the Striker series, like you're fighting, like you're in these kind of warplanes, but suddenly you have lasers, and like you're fighting these other warplanes, and they turn into robots, and then they turn into aliens, and it's crazy.
It's the secret war we didn't know existed.
Yeah, but so there's 6 different planes you can play as, and they're all so different. They all have different shots, different power ups.
In an alternate world, World War I was actually fought with mechs
Exactly.
and like crazy
I know
laser
my
rifles.
I know my steampunk history. Come on. But no, so it was only a quarter to play, and I learned that if I were to continue the game, like after I died, I would go through and continue, my score would drop to 0. and I wanted to get myself on the top 3 of the leaderboard on the machine.
Which means 1 credit clear.
Which means a 1 credit clear. That's the 1 CC, 1 credit clear, and that's how you loop the game. There was actually a Strikers 1945 Plus, the loop, that was like designed to be like every loop you played got like different or harder. And so I became obsessed with trying to loop this game. I got pretty close. I put a lot of hours into this game.
I have never 1CC'd any shooter, and whenever I see it show up that someone did, it blows my mind.
It's a whole lot of memorization. But with Strikers 1945, the scoring isn't super complicated. There's no combo system. There's no this or that. Like there's some score pickups throughout the game. You try to get down to as many enemies as possible in one shot. Through one playthrough, and again, don't die. And if you complete a boss without using any bombs, then you get bonuses for that too. And that's pretty straightforward, I think. But other than that, like I became obsessed with this stupid game. I became obsessed with the dodging of all the bullets on the screen because the bullets were super clear. They were like bright blue or bright pink. And that became like a mainstay of bullet hell games.
I like that because I'm actually thinking about. It's funny you say that because some of the earlier like cave shooters didn't do that. They had those horribly narrow, janky bullets.
Yeah, it was like, oh, there's gonna be bullets or missiles, so they should be like gunmetal gray or something. But they just blend into everything.
And that's the thing. When they started making like re-releases of them on consoles, like in recent history, like there was that one weird like Fever Gundam or whatever it was called. Dungun Fever, I think it was called. And then there was like, of course, Strikers, and there was like 2 other shooters that got re-released. All of those, they actually had a switch option to turn those into colorful bullets.
That's the best. Yeah, I think it's so necessary. I feel like the genre, this genre of games started changing at a certain point in the late 90s, where people wanted more difficult games, right? Because you weren't just having some casual player walk into an arcade and playing a random game anymore. People were going to arcades to play a specific game because there weren't many arcades left anymore. So they were looking for harder stuff. That's what
coming back for.
That's why Cave became it was a Cave. Yeah, Cave and Treasure. They started like really increasing the difficulty of their games.
Yeah, I think it was mostly Cave because I can't.
Yeah.
I think Treasure. They have any arcade games?
No, I think I must be just thinking of Cave. I think it was
Sekio.
No, it's the developers of Treasure went off to work at Cave.
There we go.
They created the company called Cave to create bullet hell shooters. Yeah, pretty much.
I miss Treasure.
But the whole thing of making the enemies and the bullets really clear by like having really bright contrasting colors is all a byproduct of increasing the difficulty of the games, making it easier for the player to recognize everything on the screen at one time.
I can almost picture that one real jerk of a character at the arcade is like, I guess you losers need your colors. I'm fine with just not taking. I don't need colors to see bullets.
I'm like, I just remember where everything is. I'm like, no.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. And if you do, I'm not doing it.
Exactly. I had time for that. I want to react. I don't want to memorize.
But this is a fun one. If you can find an emulator, like I see I think it's on the Sega Saturn also, but check it out. It's really fun. It's really fast. It's short, like all of them. I think it's like 5 or 6 stages. The order of the stages that you play differ depending on the plane that you start with.
That actually reminds me too. It makes me want to ask the question, not just definitely in Shmups, but in general. What do you prefer, memorization or reaction?
Do I prefer? You know what? I've been running into that with DDR lately, where I can play and grind out the same song like every week, and that's memorization. To a point.
Yeah, because like it's interesting when you talk about DDR though.
Yeah.
I feel like with that, a lot of the time the memorization is it's not intentional. It just happens.
It just happens.
Use.
But I mean, I have so much music that I just prefer to play new stuff. I just sight read.
Yeah.
So and that's reaction. I think I prefer reaction.
I'm in the same boat. When it comes to shmups, I prefer reaction. When it comes to music games, I prefer reaction.
But to get good and to reach a certain level with a specific game, like it's got to be half and half.
Yeah, but I'll give it that though. I mean, like that's a natural memorization. As corny as it may sound, like I think of it more like muscle memory than anything.
Memory, yeah.
Because and I say muscle memory because there's a difference between being able to say, hey, at this point the guy's going to fire 3 bullets, then 2 bullets, then 1 bullet, then 5, dodge in this exact order. That's true memorization. It's another thing to say, hey, Pernell, what happens? Like, I don't know. but then when you see me play, I'm like,
You memorized-
your brain took it in.
You memorized patterns, but not memorized the whole system.
No, not even just that. 'Cause I mean, like, still saying 3, 5, 2, 1 or whatever, that's still a pattern.
Yeah.
Because, like, this is the order in which he fires this sets of bullets. I'm saying your body knows it's
Yeah.
going to happen, but if you were to ask me what happened there, I'm going to say, I just dodged everything.
It's the twitch mechanic, right? It's like that whole. It's
It happens a lot in pop and music.
yeah, pop. Yeah, it's you're out of control at that point. Like your body's kind of doing it. It's almost autopiloting.
Yeah, and after I've done it enough, my body knows from doing this enough, this is what's happening. Get that rhythm down.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, Pernell, what was the piano scale for that? Like, there's some notes, they were falling and I hit them.
Did you do A B D C B and not A? No, I don't remember.
I don't know.
I was just moving.
I was moving, my body knew what to do,
But
and I
when
did
you do it and you're successful, it's addictive.
Yes.
And it makes you want to come back. And I don't think it works for everybody. Like this kind of game mechanic, that kind of addictive mechanic, that's not for everybody.
But that is why those games work so well and why they stick around. Because when you think about it, for all the music games that we have, very few of them step outside of the box and do something truly unique. A lot of them is truly just scales coming down and hit the note at the bottom. Or it might be scales are coming towards you, hit them when they get to you. It's always some scale coming to some spot and you hit it to the beat every time. So you would think, I should be tired of this formula by now. I've done this so many times across the last 20 years, and yet here I am playing Demo, playing Vose, playing Citus. Citus is dots, but I digress. Here I'm playing DJ Max Technica.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, it's all the same.
It's just, but the reason why is because that sense of music, the sound, and reacting to the sound. That is all it takes. It's the most minimal, yet high production quality product.
There is a strong connection between music rhythm games and shooters, and I'll talk about that on my next track. But we're on to your next track.
All right.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be a little bit odd for me in that I don't remember a ton about this game, but I know that it belongs on this list, and I'm actually going to play it when I get home tonight.
Okay.
So I did a lot of thinking about this, and this is why I chose
A lot
it.
of soul searching.
Yes. Yeah, I guess.
I guess so.
This track is from an old game called Section Z.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. I do remember that.
Another case where the tracks don't really have names because it was way back in the day.
Are we playing in the NES version or the arcade version?
NES version.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go with the Stage 2 theme, or not the Stage 2 theme, just the second stage theme. Because there's
Stage 2.
Yeah. And the composers are Kumi Yamaga and Tamayo Kawamoto.
Kawamoto, dude. Okay, I'm done.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross. Welcome back. You're listening to the second stage theme, a stage theme from the game Section Z, composed by Kumi Yamaga and Tamayo Kawamoto. So, this game, I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the show. It might seem like it's coming from way out of left field. What the heck is this guy doing putting Section Z on an episode of this show about favorite shooters or shmups? And the answer is, I know Gradius came out before this game, but I'm fairly positive this is the very first shmup I played.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't even know it was a shmup at the time because I didn't know it was a genre because I was like 7.
Yeah, well, I feel like in the NES and the Super Nintendo, even the Super Nintendo into the Genesis, they were like the whole shooters as a genre of game was so common. It was like how I feel like it was how like first person shooters are today. Mm-hmm. They were doing that back then. It was like everything.
In this game,
so many of them.
It was a perfect game. Like
this one, you actually fly around as a little guy.
Yeah, you're a pilot and you're invading a location known as Section Z. And the goal is to get to the very end of this like sequence of corridors. Mm-hmm. So think like how Darius works, how you would go from one planet and you choose between 2 planets and you just kind of branch out.
You kind of have like a little branching path system at the end of each stage.
Yes, this game was like that. Every stage could be long or short, and at the end of the section, you would actually choose a warp and you would take it to go to the next section. So some areas would be fast, some areas would be slow, some areas would be riddled with monsters, some would have no monsters. You don't know until you get used to the pathways and determine the best route to take. And as you're killing and destroying monsters, they'll sometimes drop power-ups which will determine what kind of weapons you can cycle through. And you can fire in both directions.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, when we were watching some of the playthrough, I had forgotten that I think it must be one of the first ones that you can do that, where it's horizontally scrolling to the right, but with enemies coming behind you, you said if you press A and B at the same time, he turns around.
Yeah, one button was selecting between your guns. One button was the actual use of the gun. One button was, like I said before, you press them together. I'm pretty sure that's how you actually change directions. Though it's been many, many years, but I remember having a ball with failing at this. I did beat it one day.
Oh, okay.
But it's not an easy game. I wonder how I would fare at it now, though.
It moves very fast.
Yeah, it was all the fast levels. If it was a slow level, I'd make do. But it was the levels where the screen just like would scroll like a bullet, and you could get smashed by the screen or whatever. It was something. But this game was a gem. Capcom of all people developed it.
Well, that's right. It was Capcom. The soundtrack it's very classic NES, where there's no additional sample channels. There's nothing extra with the percussion. It's just the square waves and the noise channel for the little percussion.
Just a groove.
But yeah, there's a lot of movements to this within a short period of time, and it does that thing that NES music does that I love a lot, where when it goes to the loop to the next part, it doesn't sound like it's looping right away, because the opening of the song sounds like it's like the next verse of a song, it just flows.
It just keeps
right
going.
Yeah, it's a good flow.
Perma-loop.
So is there a lot of music in this game?
No, not much.
Just like 1 or 2 songs?
Maybe 4. Because like I know when you're flying around, like you'll go between sectors and the track won't change. It's just sometimes you'll eventually make a transition and the track will change then. Almost like, okay, now you're in this component of the game. And you're at this component of the game. And, oh crap, you're at the end, there's the boss. But it's generally expected that you're going to be going through multiple sectors with the same track looping. And it's just go.
Well, that's a good loop then.
Oh, I love this track.
Loop. So my last track is from the game. All right, this is a long one. This is when I went back to rediscover shooters through the wonders of emulation. And I looked online to say, what are people's favorites? And this is when I discovered cave shooters. And I didn't realize I was playing a sequel to the sequel of whatever.
I'm asking one. I was going to say it was like Bug Princess, but there's no way that's what
Not
this
that
is.
one. It was before that. This is Dudan Pachi Daifukatsu Black Label Arranged.
The one I always confuse with Cho Aniki, even though they're nothing alike.
There's so many of them. And this is for the arcade, and it's composed by Manabu Namiki. And the track is Last Words. This is the ending theme to Dudan Pachi Daifukatsu Black Label Arranged.
Also, this is danceable.
It is. It's got a good dance. How you kind
These reminds me of that old
drop the beat.
This reminds me of did you see that old YouTube clip where someone had come up with it was like a video game dance party or something, and it was like people supposedly dancing in the club to video game music.
This is the Legacy Music Hour.
Is that what that was?
So the Legacy Music Hour. Rob and Brent. It
was such a weird sketch.
They were doing it was going to be like the Legacy Music Dance Hour, but the people they hired were dancers to hire to be on the show, but they didn't know what they'll be dancing to was video game music.
Oh, wait, seriously?
Yeah. Well, I'll play it for you later. Actually, I'll play it for you now. But no, here's the track from Dudan Pachi. This is the last words, the ending theme. This is the ending theme called Last Words from the game Dudan Pachi Daifukatsu Black Label Arranged. This is a cave shmup in the arcade, composed by Manabu Namiki. Whew, isn't that awesome? I love this tune. When that guitar kicks in, with all that reverb on it,
And I like
so
it,
80s.
And I like it more because I feel like, and this may be exclusive to me, but I don't remember ending tracks as much as I'd like to because I don't hear them very often.
No, yeah,
Genuinely
especially with a game like this.
Oh yeah, like you might never get to the end.
Yeah, this is definitely. I want to say this is one of the first games where they actually called like the different difficulties you could choose from. One of them was Danmaku or Bullet Hell, or whatever it was called. But.
So was this the first one that gave you that choice? I know Black Label, and I only learned about Black Label because of a game that I didn't mention on this episode only because I didn't want to overexpose it. That smiles. Ha! Now it's exposed. But that one had a Black Label version, and
Yes.
I learned that was what was on the Xbox 360 release, and it lets you like select whether you wanted to play Black Label mode or regular. And Black Label mode had like an absurd number of bullets on the screen.
Oh yeah, it was.
The bullets would explode into more bullets.
Yeah, or when you defeat a character, they would explode into more bullets. There's just so much happening on the screen.
It was anxiety-inducing in the best way possible.
So this is the one where I got, because shooters made by Cave, they have very complicated scoring systems of like you have for example for Dudan Pachi, it isn't just like clearing enemies off the screen. You have to clear them. Once you clear an enemy, a timer ticks down, and you have to clear another enemy before it ticks down to keep a combo going. But it goes really, really fast. So in order to play optimally for scoring, then you have to leave enemies on the screen intentionally and not destroy them quickly intentionally, so that there are always enemies on the screen.
You can just kind of jump
So you
from
can
guy to
keep blowing
guy.
up. And then you also have to prioritize the larger enemies that you can't just blow up right away. So then you have to think, okay, well, how do I manage to keep them on the screen while also blowing up smaller enemies around it so that I don't break my combo? And the goal is the biggest goal is to complete an entire stage without breaking combo. So you get to a boss, you have to just hold down the trigger.
And there's probably a bonus
not
for
miss
that,
it.
too,
There's a
like-
huge bonus. I've only done it a couple times. But this is a game where I learned about those crazy geometric bullet-shaped patterns that are really pretty.
That actually makes me
The
think.
crazy fast music and the really insane scoring. I never got super good at it, but I got really focused on the memorization of when the enemies appear, where they will be on the screen, where I should position myself throughout the game so that I actually have a path, because enemies will fire wherever you're at.
Favorite combo system?
This would be it.
This was it?
Yeah.
Just to keep guys on, as like keep guys from dying as quickly, not quickly. I'm not even phrasing this
well,
properly.
this also had the mechanic that a lot of the other cave shooters have, like Mushihime-sama, where if you tap the button, you just shoot and you move normally, but if you hold it down, the ship focuses a charge into like a laser and it actually slows down.
Oh, so you basically can't evade very well while you're doing the hold fire.
Yeah, but you do more damage, and a little dot pops up on your ship, which is your actual hitbox.
Oh, I like when that happens.
So when you're fighting a boss and there's tons of things on the screen, you need to do more finesse movement. Then you would hold down the button, then you can see your hitbox and you move slower so that you can dodge better. It's just, I loved everything about this. The combo system was it was simple enough to understand. I wasn't like trying to collect items and do this or that. I was just trying to manage everything on the screen. And to play for a better score, you were playing riskier. And like that whole risk reward balance, it made sense. It makes sense.
I do like risk reward. Like, because I asked that question because it got me thinking when you mentioned it. I was like, oh, that's an interesting. I never heard that one before. But like, the one that I think I like the most to this day is probably still Radiant Silvergun's combo system. It was a weird one. Are you familiar with how it worked?
I want to say we talked about it. I can't remember it.
So the idea behind Radiant Silvergun's combo system was that all the enemies, every enemy in the game, except maybe a boss or two, or the bosses in general, come in 3 colors: red, blue, and yellow.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you get to you combo the colors together, right?
Yeah, so like, sets of 3. So like, if you hit a yellow moss enemy, you can't kill any other enemy but yellow, specifically 2 more times. So once you've killed a set of 3, you're free to kill another color type if you want, or you can just do more of the same color.
And again, you're playing risky that way because you're leaving enemies to shoot at you.
Yep.
Just because you're trying to maintain that combo. And also, like you have to be accurate at that time too, because you can't miss.
You
and
miss and hit
something
the
else.
wrong color.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, they had the paint scraping in that game too, which I liked a lot. So you rub up against the wall and get extra points, or rub up against a stream of bullets and get points.
Right, because your hitbox, like in this game, it's much smaller than the actual sprite on the screen. And that's common with a lot of the other older titles that we've been talking about tonight too, like Strikers and with Arrow Fighters, but it wasn't so apparent. You just had to know. In this game, it was like, you know what? Like, we're going to make it super hard, so we're going to give you all of the information on the screen to really understand it. But they did that. I almost played some music from Toho, because Zune, who developed the Toho games, really focused on that too. Like
the hitbox?
The geometric patterns, the hitboxes, like holding down the button to focus your shot and to slow down. And all of those have different scoring systems on every single game, and I can't remember all of them. But that's okay.
That's part of the fun of going to revisit.
Yeah, so Dudonpachi is awesome. I really encourage, if anyone's interested at all in playing bullet hell type shooters, they're really great. If you live in Pennsylvania, east side of Pennsylvania, there's at Exton Mall, there is a Round 1 arcade, and they have Dudonpachi Daiju Ao, which...
Really?
Yeah, which is awesome. So sit down, you can play that with the joystick. It's really fun, authentic, crazy bullet hell experience. Check it out. Or get an emulator like me, because whatever. They're hard to find. They're great. So I'm going to turn the track down, and we're going to get to the part of the show we call the bonus round.
Bonus round.
Bonus round approaching.
Bonus.
The bonus round is the part of the show where we play covers and remixes based on our theme and arrangements as well. So today is Shmups, our favorite Shmup. So are you picking from a game that we heard before already, or
possibly on another episode, but not this episode?
Oh, okay. So what is it?
I had one in mind originally, but when I came across the fact that a guy I really like did a remix for this game, or cover for this game, I had to go with it. So,
of course,
this is a cover from the game Guardian Legend on the NES, which, as you know, had hybrid like walking and shooter levels, shmup levels. The track is titled 8-Bit Rocks and is composed or done by Prozac.
Oh, awesome. All right.
The guy who did Rocket from
right.
Blaster Master. so.
Got a little Sammy Hagar at the end there.
That's right. This is 8-Bit Rock's
Hmm.
cover composition from the game Guardian Legend, done in the style and by the man who goes by Prozac. I love this guy's work. Like I said earlier, I remember him from a track that I've loved for years called Rocket, which was a cover he did from a Blaster Master tune.
Yeah.
So when I stumbled across, I was like, well, I got to listen to this.
Yeah, I like his style, and I like the track was a kind of like low fidelity, kind of had a surf rocky kind of thing going on, but like I don't know, it was just,
And I love that it was a cover of my favorite track in the game proper, which is pretty much like,
and it works really well. Like works really well as a rock track. Yeah, I like that.
oh my gosh, see, now I got to go back and play Guardian Legend again, too. My log of backing is so full.
the log of backing Pernell.
So it goes back so far.
All right, so my bonus round track is an arrangement from the iOS game Bullet Hell Monday. So this is a
Just another bullet hell Monday.
Pew,
Pew,
pew. So yeah, it's a really cool idea where the stages are really short, or it's just a boss, and you control the ship with just your finger, and it just auto shoots. And as you play through the game, you earn, I guess, like in-game like credits, which you can use towards buying new ships and buying new music for the game. The music is really good. So the whole style of the game is just really, it's kind of like, remember like Geometry Wars, very much like that, where it's not like ships and like World War II ships and robots. It's really just geometry, shapes and colors, and it's really fun. And I got really obsessed with it for a while. So it was developed and also composed by Masayuki Ito, and I found this on his SoundCloud page as a chiptune version of the theme song Bullet Hell Monday. That was the Bullet Hell Monday chiptune remix. It was originally composed by Masayuki Ito and remixed by Masayuki Ito.
There's a lot of Masahiko Ito. I totally mispronounced that too.
Yeah, I know. It's not even that long of a name. I just keep saying it wrong.
I'll blame the hour. It's late.
It's late. Masayuki Ito, the developer and composer of the iOS game Bullet Hell Monday. Very cool. So if you like that style of music, the rest of the soundtrack is not kind of in that fake bit chiptune style, but it's pretty cool. So check it out on I think I have it for Android and in the Apple Store. So if you want to know more about the artists in the bonus round part of the show, go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to their SoundClouds and Bandcamps and everywhere you can go get the music and support these artists.
Support them!
Support them. Approaching. Thanks for joining us on episode 18-1 of Rhythm and Pixels.
Like this dramatic pause. Thank you for joining us on that episode.
Oh, you gotta give it to me, Pernell. Come on. Gotta have a little bit of fun on the show sometimes.
I'm Alfred Hitchcock, and you've been listening to Rhythm and Pixels, episode 18-1. Journey to the Stars.
Earlier on the program, we heard Masayuki Ito with Bullet Hell Monday.
Many of our listeners felt that they also indeed wished it was actually Sunday as they listened to that. They enjoyed it nonetheless because it was a quality piece composed of zest and vigor.
Our number one listener, Robert Smith, wished it was Friday.
Fun fact, tomorrow it is! Unless you're listening to the show and not recording it, in which case, whoops.
Well, thanks for listening to us for this whole period of time when we talked about our favorite shmups, which I love that term. When I first heard about that term. When did you first hear the term shmup?
I'm honestly not even sure. And to this day, it almost doesn't make sense, and yet it actually does.
It does. It's shoot 'em up, but it's shmup. But
Instead of M, it's M, just the letter.
Yeah, SHMUP. But it works because it almost like it's describing a specific style of game, right?
Actually, it's not even a U. It's just SHMUP.
Yeah, SHM.
I think you said SHU. I'm sorry. I'm dense.
It's SHMUP.
I blame Lee.
It's SHMUP.
Shmup. Shmup.
SHMUPs. But yeah, I felt like we kind of indulged ourselves this whole month of just our favorite games.
And honestly, it hits a sweet spot for me because, as you know, with the show in general, we talk music. I love games. Mm-hmm. That's what brings me here in the first place, you know? So it's like an opportunity to talk shop about the things I want to
get. You just crack your knuckles.
Oh, I did crack my knuckles because that's how I get down, man.
You come here to beat me up?
No, I came here to beat thoughts into your head related to I cannot make that sound good in any way possible.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to talk games. I just like talking games with my friends.
And this is a good way to do it. A good way to get to that.
And that's why I feel like this upcoming Patreon episode is a pretty big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal that I think I'm actually going to record myself saying it instead of just typing it because I want you to hear it in the various groups. Submit your favorite tracks from games that you love, like your tracks from your favorite games. There we go.
Your favorite games.
Yeah, just let us know. There's no shame in it. If you don't even want us to use your real name, give us a wacky alias like Pumpkin Face.
I know, or we're going to have way too many submissions of Rystar for the Genesis. It's going to be too many.
No one can see the face I'm making.
We can play them all over again.
No one can see.
I wouldn't mind.
The face I am making at you. We all know it's going to Rystar. Though admittedly, if we get like 5 submissions of different Rystar tracks and they have like genuine testimonials, I would genuinely bite the bullet and just have it be a Rystar episode. Like, Patreons love Rystar would be the title of it and everything. Our patrons love Rystar.
It's a very Rystar episode. That's all right. So that's coming up this Thursday after this episode has been released.
Yes.
7:30 p.m. Eastern. we'll have notifications out on our Patreon page and all that.
I think by the end of this episode, after this episode, I'm probably going to just record it too.
Yeah, we'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys.
Just saying.
So if you want to get in contact with us, if you have a track suggestion, or if you have a topic suggestion, send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And if you'd like to learn more about our show, if you want access to all of the episodes, access to the full track listings of every episode, go to the website.
rhythmandpixels.com.
Check us out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. It's Rhythm and Pixels, all one word. There's a group called Rhythm and Pixels Chat on Facebook. That's where kind of a lot of discussion on our game of the month is happening. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/rhythmandpixels. We have a 24/7 radio station that just plays nothing but 8-bit and 16-bit music, classics and deep cuts from our friends. And if you'd like to support the show, hit the subscribe button or hit the comment button or whatever you're listening to is helpful. You can also go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. There you can support us there. And we have a monthly live stream we have for all of our patrons. I'm having a hard time with words, Pernell.
My word.
Stuff. So last week we like to thank all of our Patreon members at the end of every show, and we will thank them now. But last week we had a little bit of a fighting game tournament between all of the Patreon members. And do you remember who won? No, we didn't have a winner.
We did not. It was just everyone. There was various matchups between two people.
Yeah.
There was no top of the heap.
No top of the, because they're all great except for the losers. There were first round losers.
Nonsense. They just went to the other awesome round. Don't let him fool you.
So we want to thank all of our Patreon members. We want to thank Alex, the Messenger, that Nick Walker, that one, Steve Miller, the Autistic Gamer, Cameron Werma, Christopher Shenstrom, Damian Beckles, Bobby Arson of the One Up Funk band, One Up Funk.
I love that name.
Of the One Up Funk band, the One Up Funk. I want to thank Wicked Sephiroth, OK Impala. I want to thank Carlos Kung Fu Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast, Henrik Anderson of the Camouflage Commodore 64 podcast, and he just recently did a guest spot on Nerd Noise Radio.
Really?
Yeah, another very cool video game music podcast run by St. John. I want to thank Michael.
He's a great dude.
Great dude. I want to thank Michael Bridgewater from the Forever Sound Version podcast. He hasn't had a podcast in a little while because he's globetrotting right now, man.
That was funny. See if he remembers when he gets back. We're going to do a greatest hits CD exchange.
Ooh.
So I'm cracking the knuckles
like that.
again.
Are you actually going to send him a physical CD?
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited about that. Like a little mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
Pernell's greatest hits. I had a few of those. He said, oh man, years ago, I had Sonic Coaster Pop, had Biss.
Oh, you remember that?
Oh yeah. I ran into it a little while ago, but it was like Pernell Mix 1 and Pernell Mix 2, or then it was just called P Mix.
I think it was for the car.
Yeah, P Dash Mix. Yeah. I also want to thank Brian Pitt, Morton Gangso, Chris Marie, Jupiter Jazz, Solus Sanctuary, Mix 6 Master John Jekyll, Joe Vassallo, Chris Steenerson, and David Smith. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the show.
Thank you for being awesome people. Legit awesome people.
All right, so next week is going to be a Patreon live show, so it's going to be a little wacky. I'm going to have some caffeine, some scones, some yogurt.
Assuming I haven't gotten to the end of the game by that point, I'll probably be playing the Messenger for the episode. I think that would be a very fitting game.
Oh, that's right, because you get it on the
run.
Switch. So you can play that on the Switch. That'd be kind of cool.
I need to get a little bit further into it because I don't know if I'm going to beat by the end of the month. I got reviews and stuff I got to do. Plus, I'm obsessed with the Trails games, but I would like to actually beat this game for you. Like I said, the platforming is legit, and when you're going for some of those seals, like when you get that hang glider, and you're like, you got that weird down attack that lets you kind of bounce higher.
Yes,
you can do some crazy stuff with it.
You can, and I'm terrible at it. I am the worst at it.
Loves it.
I can't stand it.
Love that glider and the pig pogoing.
Yeah, I haven't quite gotten the hang of some of those mechanics yet, but I'm getting there.
There's a little twerking to it because there's a weird timing that comes from coming. Let's say you don't want to glide anymore, you got to come out of it and then you swing.
Yeah, because you can't match it. You can't match those buttons.
No, you can't.
You got to be really deliberate.
Though I did do the weird thumb flopping thing where, one button's on the lower button and the top of the thumb is the top, where I can like fold it to like relieve the swing and then like bring it down to jump. It's like a constant rhythm, like swing, flop, swing, flop, swing, flop.
Actually, listeners, write in and tell us what you're doing with your thumbs and how you use where you rest them on your.
Tell us how you flip your flop.
I mean, we do a lot with our thumbs on this show, so tell us how your thumbs are doing. We're getting older. We're gonna need thumb therapy at some point. Maybe thumb replacements.
Thumb exercises.
Like replace, like put like a titanium pin in my thumb.
Oh yeah, I gotta keep my gaming up. I mean, all those rapid fire presses, though. Admittedly, I think rapid fire is not your thumb. That's your index finger, or your pointer finger.
Yeah. You kind of double tap.
Yep.
All right.
That's it. Middle finger and pointer finger. That's how it is.
If you can't tell right now, but Pernell's going to go dig on the table.
That's right. It works. If you don't have a battery, that's the next best thing.
One last thing for those of you who are super special and want to listen to the end of the show. There's two more things. What's that, Pernell?
No, you do yours first.
Oh, we're going to be at Too Many Games in June of this year, 2019. No schedule of when we'll be doing the show, but we'll be there doing the show.
And when they tell us, we'll let you guys know too. So if you're in the area or can get to the area, you should come out and hang out.
We'll be running around, hanging out, talking to people,
playing board games, throwing tantrums. You know the deal.
Yeah, playing arcade games. So what were you going to say?
You beat, baby.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that BitGen Gamerfest has announced its date as well as the bands that will be there. Okay. It will be in Baltimore, Maryland at the Auto Bar on July 27th, 2019. If you are in the area, you should totally be there. What bands will be there? We got the Megas. We got Year 2000X.
Megas are flying in?
That's right.
That's awesome.
Super Madness, Cowabunga Pizza Time, Game Breaks, Steel Samurai, Wreck the System, Garbage Masher, Random Battles, X Hunters, Crunk Witch, Viking Guitar, Watch Out for Snakes, Galaxy Flowers, WASD, Axis, I guess it's Axis, and DJ Supersonic.
Okay, we've had a lot of these people on our show.
Yes, and they're going to be melting faces at the Auto Bar. It's a good time. I've gone to BitGen every year since like the 5th.
All of those bands on one night?
Yeah, it goes all day. It goes from usually it's 2 p.m. to
I saw
midnight
on
or
the
1.
Facebook said it starts at 4 p.m. That's crazy.
Yeah, basically my case is I'm going to be in Pittsburgh, and I got to drive. I'm going to be driving. If I go, I'm planning to go. I'm going to be driving from Pittsburgh right to the Auto Bar.
Well, this will be, I think I'm going to go. This will be my first one.
It's a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It gets a little crowded, but you're there for the music, and you're just zing. All in all, that's a good time, though. I think you'd enjoy it.
All right, well, check it out. We'll plug it a few more times on the next few episodes for sure, because we love those guys. We want to support everybody.
Better believe it.
It's Chris Payne's thing, right?
He's definitely affiliated.
If not,
right? Yeah. I don't know his exact, how many people are on the board, but I know he's definitely a major contender.
I think of BitGen, I think of Chris Payne's, I think of Steel Samurai. That's
you and me both.
That's how I fitted it together.
That's how I met Chris.
Yeah.
So it was through BitGen.
Well, thanks for listening to the show, Rhythm and Pixels. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
We'll see you next week.
And remember, trying is a thing, failing is a thing, but success can only come through acts of trial. So keep trying, keep pushing, keep succeeding when you get the successes, and appreciate them as they come along. Bonus one, don't be a jerk to people on the internet. It's all about being kind and courteous and considerate. And I get it, sometimes sarcasm can be pretty fun. It can be really fun. But there's sarcasm and then there's just jerkdom. Don't be a jerk on the internet. It's not worth it. And it helps nobody, and the high is fleeting too, so.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
I won't be a jerk on the internet. Sure.
How sarcastic was that, Rob?
I'll stop being.
Just be, honestly, truth be told, just be as kind as possible. It's all about, making friends, or if not making friends, just having cool conversations online. It's worth it.
Yeah, I'm not like a spiritual, religious guy, but I feel that you put positivity out there, people generally respond to it.
Oh yeah, that's the truth. And they sometimes really appreciate it too, whether you realize it or not.